I'm gonna share the screen. Can you see the screen? Presentation. Okay. So I am Ellie Bonfil, a researcher in the Institute of Marine Sciences, and I'm the ProBleu project technical coordinator. And today in this room there are my colleagues Gennady Lessen, Ben O'Driscoll, and Amy Kenworthy from Plymouth Marine Laboratory, and also my colleague Anna Weider from Earthwatch Europe, that are ProBleu members. And this session will be to talk a little bit about what's ProBleu, what's our project, our grants, and how to improve your projects to apply to our grants. First, first of all, I want to introduce you a little bit what's our project. ProBleu is a European project funded by the European Vision that the aim is to support primary and secondary schools around the topics of sustainability and protection of marine and freshwater ecosystems. What we want to do is to fund ocean and freshwater literacy projects and also support the schools on working on these topics. So we want to help you to engage your students and the wider community around these topics, and also help you to develop and implement new ideas to contribute to, to achieve the goals of this European mission, and also to help you to join the network of European Blue Schools. We are 6 partners working on this project, 3 of them from the UK, that are the PML, Earthwatch, and the Ocean Conservation Trust. One partner from Lithuania, the Kaunas University of Technology, one partner from Portugal, it's the company Innova Mais, and also we, the Institute of Marine Sciences of CSIC, that is a research center in Spain. So we have several expertise on this field in the team. And how familiar are you with the Blue Schools concept? A Blue School is a school that introduces the ocean and freshwater in their curriculum. So they are schools, primary, secondary, and vocational schools that are working through project-based learning to introduce maritime, and freshwater topics in the curriculum of their school. Now, the last numbers that we have from the Blue Schools in Europe is that in the European network of Blue Schools, there are 732 certified Blue Schools. As you can see in the map, most of them are in the Mediterranean area, but this bit by bit is changing and the other basins are increasing. This network is managed by a coalition, the EU4Ocean Coalition, where there are several entities experts on ocean and water literacy. And this network of European Blue Schools is the one who give to the schools the certificate of Blue Schools. So if you want to receive a certificate of Blue School, you should apply to this network, and they do it twice per year. The first one is at the beginning of the year, between January and May, but now this application process is open, so you can apply to be a Blue School if you are already developing some school project. And also there is a second moment during the year where you can apply, that it's from October to December. Okay, so if you did some Blue School project last year, or you are already developing something now in the school, you can apply to get certified as a European Blue School. Okay, and this application should be done in English. This is very important and you have to send some project that you are some ongoing project. Okay. Um, if you want to be a Blue School, you have to address five compulsory criteria. The first one is that you should develop a project with connected activities, with interlinked activities. Because sometimes in the school, maybe one teacher does something, another one does another activity related to the topic, but maybe they are not connected. So you have to find this blue thread that connects all the activities. Okay. The second criteria is that you should produce a clear output. The project need to have a clear goal of learning, but also you should produce an output like an exhibition, documentary, conference, some educational materials. There are several options, but you should produce something at the end of the project. The third criteria is that you should involve all your students, because Blue Schools take into account inclusivity. So we cannot, if we decide that we work with only one classroom, all the students of this classroom should be involved in the project. We cannot pick some selected students. Okay. And the fourth one is that we have to collaborate with one local partner. That can be an association, research center, university, the municipality, etc. But we have to connect our project with the society, with the people who is living around our school. And the fifth one is that we have to communicate what we do in the social media, in the website or the blog of the school, in the press or in the radio, or during a conference open to the families, but we should communicate what we are doing. And then there are five optional criteria that we can address or not. If we address correctly these five criteria and we do our application to be a Blue School, we will receive this certificate of Blue Schools. Okay. The Secretariat of the Network of European Blue Schools reviews every month all the applications. So if you send it now in May, in June, you will know if you are Blue School or not. Apart from being a Blue School, that is something that we want to engage you to do. Being part of being around our project, around ProBleu, can help you also because we are experts. So some of our partners are experts on citizen science, so we can help you to introduce citizen science in your school. We offer funding that will help you to buy equipment or to develop resources or to do teachers training, so you can increase the knowledge about the ocean and the sea and the water in your school. We can help you also to collaborate with other schools to do training activities. You will be part of an international project uh, with more than 40 countries involved. And also you will have access to different educational resources that we will explain you later. Okay. As in ProBleu, we are several experts on citizen science. One of the things we want to communicate you is that for us it's very interesting if you can introduce citizen science in your projects. It's not compulsory, but it's something that we recommend you because we think that it's very advantageous and very interesting for your students. Um, Regarding to the cost, that I suppose is the thing that most interests you today, our call is open until the 23rd of May, so you can apply for our grants. Depending on the country you have a different budget available, and and also different, let's say, opportunities. This is because there are some countries that have been funded before in the previous calls, because this is the fourth and our last call for grants. So, for example, in the case of Spain, we have funded several projects before. So, because of this, there are like less possibilities. But this doesn't mean that there are no possibilities, because if nobody applies because they think there are less possibilities, um, you will have more options. Okay, so we really recommend you to apply to all the options. Depending on the country, you can see that the budget is between 2,500 euros until 7,500 euros. Okay, and there's a maximum of projects funded depending on the group. Very important that schools should be from primary, secondary, and vocational schools, and you should have entities. But there are some countries that maybe the school has a legal entity, but there are some that in your country the schools are no legal entities. You can send us an email and we will help you have an entity. With this that we are giving to the funded projects, you can spend it on travel, accommodation, and subsistence. For example, if you want to go to the field with your students, you can buy equipment. For example, you want to buy something for your labs or some equipment to go to the sampling in the field. You can also subcontract experts to help you to do some activities or to do teachers training. Or, for example, you can spend it on the tickets of a museum or an educational, environmental education center, etc. Okay, and there are three kinds of funding. The the small scale funding is 2,500 euros. The medium is 5,000 and the largest scale is 7,500. Large scale doesn't mean that it's a long project. Okay. The minimum of the length is 3 months and the maximum is 7 months. But a project that it lasts only 3 months, but it's a big project because it needs a big investment, can be a large scale project. Okay, imagine that you are doing an exhibition, so you need to invest a lot on the equipment of the exhibition. You can ask for this money. Okay, the most important is that you justify, that you explain why you need this money and not 2,500 euros. And when you get funded, you will sign a contract and you will receive the 80% of the budget. Then at the end of the project, you will have to send a report and then you will receive the 20%. We will only ask you for the report. We don't ask you for the bills of what you spend. Okay, you have to take it. You need to have it in case of, but we will not ask for the bills, only for the report and the pictures, things that prove that you are doing what you said. Okay. The money can be for doing several activities. These are like some examples on activities that you can do, like the collection, workshops, meetings, conferences, teachers training, for example, exhibitions. Also developing educational materials, because maybe you are not experts on the field and you need some experts developing these educational materials of this topic. Or something more creative, like performances, the documentaries, artistic activities. Also for doing competitions, for example, between different schools or collaborations, with other schools to see what happens in their school. For example, no, something in the sea that is close to this school, and what happens in the sea that is close to yours, etc. Okay, these are like just some examples. And your project should fit on one of the topics of the European mission that we are involved. Okay, so you have this list of 17 topics, and when you do your application, you should choose between 1 to 3. If you only are addressing one of these, it's enough. You don't need to address 3 of them. Okay, you just have to look in which one you fit or your project fits better. Okay, and if you need a little bit of inspiration of several projects, you can check in our website and see the project that we have funded in the previous calls, and see a little bit what kind of projects they are. Okay. So now I pass the floor to my colleague Anna.
Great, yeah. So I'm going to talk to you next about planning your school project. So we have developed a document here called the brainstorming worksheet. So you can use this to write down some of your ideas, but it's important to note this is not part of the application. This is just a tool to try and help you. So to start planning your project, the first thing you need to do is select a project topic. So this is from one of the 17 topics that we just saw. And then, of course, select your project activities and try and make sure these incorporate the local community and include as many students as you can from your school, and also make sure that the project is feasible and realistic. Next slide. Yeah, so it's also great to connect with external organizations. So these can be universities, research centers, local NGOs, parent-teacher associations, and things like that. And it's great to highlight in your application how the partnership can benefit both parties. And social media can be a really good place to find partners to work with or build relationships with a potential partner. Next slide. So we've also developed a document called the Templates and Guidelines document. So that's linked here and is also found on our website. So this has a large number of potential project ideas that you can use as inspiration, or use these ideas and adapt them to your school. So these ideas are broken down by subject. So it covers a lot of subjects such as music, science, history, art and design, ethics, economics, and physical education. And there are also ideas for primary schools and secondary schools. So here it's important to highlight that your project doesn't have to be only about science. It could be much more creative, or any subject you can think of, really. Next slide. So yeah, again, these are some project ideas that you could use in your project. So yeah, it could be really academic or much more creative. Next slide. Okay, so next I'll talk you through some project examples that we have funded already in the other calls. So this is an example of a marine project. So this project focused on an endangered species of seahorse and its habitat, the Posidonia meadows. So these are important carbon dioxide sinks and a habitat for many species. So the students here collected data on water quality, and among other activities, they organised a competition to design a sustainable seahorse hotel. The winning design was installed by divers. So this project addresses the topic open access data on marine and freshwater. Next slide. Yeah, so here we have a freshwater example. So this project collected data on microplastic pollution and displayed this data on a map to build up a picture of water quality in Romania. And this school worked with 3 other schools, as well as research facilities, universities, and NGOs. So this project also addressed the topic open access data on marine and freshwater. Next slide. And finally, this is a small scale project example. So this project had a funding of 2,500 euros. So this project promotes a shift towards healthier and more sustainable diets. The students went on outings with a professional algae harvester. The students then came back to school and cooked the algae with a local chef who specialized in this type of cooking. And the students here created a guide for collecting and cooking the algae. So this project addresses the topic, eat less fish, more algae. Next slide. Okay, that's it for me.
So hello everybody, hopefully you can hear me. My name is Ben O'Driscoll. I'm a research software engineer at PML, and I'm one of the key developers for the ProBleu Catalogue of teaching aids. So we've got some slides on this slide deck, but I'm hopeful to give you a bit of a live demo to show you how it works in action. I just noticed, Ellie, that there's lots of questions in the chat. One of them is that will the slides be available afterwards? So I don't know if you can note if it's possible for this to be disseminated to people afterwards, the slides, or is that not possible? Just wanted to kind of ask that question. It is possible? Okay. Okay, so I just wanted to try and share my screen. So let's give this a go and see how we get on. Okay, so hopefully someone can tell me when you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's clear. Great, thank you. Okay, so what is the purpose of this catalogue? So we're really excited for you to produce some materials on the back of your successful funding. And we're really hopeful that you'll be able to share that material so that other schools and educators can benefit from that material. So we developed this resource catalog to be able to host those materials. I think one of the key features of this catalog is that both the material and the pages are translatable into multiple different languages. So if you navigate to the catalog, and by the way, the URL is probleu.pml.space, the first thing you might want to do is to change the language into the language of your choosing. So we have a drop down here. And then you might want to navigate to the start here. So this is a page which kind of introduces you to the catalog and describes a little bit about what you might want to do, what you might want to do here. Now, I think there's three main things that you're going to do here. I think you're going to want to browse material for additional content that you might want to share in your classroom. You might want to then download that material so that you can share it with your students and adapt it for the needs of your classrooms. And then I'd also encourage you to upload material as well. So we're going to give a very quick run through as to those three main things for you, just to get you started, just to give you a bit of a flavor about what this is all about. So to start looking through the material, we've got this browse drop down here. And let's first go to all materials. So essentially, all materials is a breakdown of the individual components that people have uploaded to our catalog. So if you think about a slide deck that you might have some material on, this slide deck is actually split out into its individual slides. And what that allows is people to have the maximum flexibility to choose slides that are interesting for their educational needs. So you're then able to create collections of these materials together into what we call a resource bundle. And the idea of a resource bundle is that you download one resource bundle which might have several different bits of content, and then you can adapt that content for the needs of your classroom. So we're just looking at some individual slides here, and you can see where they've been used before. And then you can also look at the parent document to find out you know, if you found a slide that was particularly interesting, let's choose this one, for example, you then think, well, there might be other slides in this particular document that I find interesting. So you can go to the parent document and we can find out some more of the content that relates to something you might be interested in. So then you're able to build bundles of that content. I must say here that the features of uploading material and building bundles is limited to registered users, but our registration is really open. So we just ask for some details, and also registration is not limited to just ProBleu funded schools, but even if you are unsuccessful, you can still access this and download materials. So we'll just have a look at an example of what a resource bundle is. So hopefully it demystifies it. Okay. So I'll just pick on this top one here, Citizen Science and Fresh Water. So you can see this one has 31 resources, and it's made up of a mixture of slides, worksheets, and videos. So you can come down and scroll through this and have a look at what material is included in this bundle. And then you can download it to your computer. And if you're in a different language, all of the content is translated into the language of your choice. So we hope that really helps, you know, kind of disseminate this across different countries, which is something we're really excited about. In terms of uploading material, just before I show you that, I'll just show you that we can also link. You could also search just by topics. So these are some big headline topics that help you filter material of your choosing. Let's pick on ecosystem services. And then when we click on this, we can see some resource bundles that link to that topic, and then also individual slides, sheets, and videos that relate to it. Great. So in terms of the next thing you might want to do, and that we'd encourage you to actually start to upload material and share it with others. So we're just simply going to hit the upload button. We're going to ask you what you would like to upload. Let's take an example. You want to load a slideshow. We ask you to read some terms and conditions and think about the appropriate content that you might be uploading. And I'll actually just pause here just to flag here that the way that the material is translated is it's quite choosy, and what we ask people to do when they are building materials is to kind of make the material formatting quite simple and quite basic. The reason is the translation pipeline relies on picking out text, and so in here there are some really good best practices for uploading files, which we've described to you. And basically, these are best practices that give the translation pipeline the best chance of extracting your information and being able to translate it into multiple different languages. So I would encourage you all to, before designing your material for upload, just having a look at this and yeah, to optimize it for the translation pipeline. Okay, so if we go back. So we're going to ask you some questions and then just start thinking about the title, you know, the associated topics, headline topics that it's linked with. Then pick out some target ages, keywords, some additional keywords you might want to add. And this is all going to help people when it comes to searching for material, because there is the option to use a text search. It's going to be helpful for people to find your material and hopefully for people to reuse it. That is very much the top level description as to what this does. It's worth noting that if you ever have any issues, we've got this contact us page, and please do reach out. You know, if you need support with anything, if that's, you know, uploading material or downloading, please come and talk to us, and just fill out this contact us form and describe what issues, if you've got issues you're having, and we'll be happy to talk to you and guide you through it. So I think I'll leave it there. I would encourage you just to review the best practices for uploading material. As I said before, I think it's great that the languages, I think the key feature of this, that it's translatable into multiple languages, is a really great feature. And so if we can keep material formatting simple, then it really opens it up into different languages. So thanks for listening. And yeah, hopefully you get a copy of the slides which details some bits that I might have missed. But yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and thanks for listening.
Thank you, Ben. So now that you know a little bit more about our catalog, so I hope it engaged you to take a look, to register to it, and to download materials, and maybe in the future to upload also materials. I don't know if some of my colleagues want to add something else.
I can quickly run through the virtual journeys if you'd like, but otherwise, if you want to move on to questions, that's fine as well. It'll only take 2 minutes otherwise. I think there's maybe the last slide, new slide deck. Just while Ellie's doing that, I can no, that's fine.
With my connection.
I can just start talking about it, and the slide will just be a visual help. But yeah, so as part of the catalogue, obviously, whether you get the funding or not, you can upload your resources there. So of course, we'd really like you to do it, especially if you do get the funding, and so you can share what you did with that. But then also, if you don't receive funding this round, then and you've developed something on water or ocean literacy, then please still feel free to upload it. So the catalogue will be full of lots of different things that teachers have developed, or students even. But also Plymouth Marine Laboratory is working on some things that we call virtual journeys, and they're going to be on 4 different topics. So we've got 2 for secondary schools, one being biodiversity and one ocean chemistry. And for primary schools, we've got plastics and climate coming. The biodiversity one is actually already on in the catalogue, so you can already check that out. And so what the virtual journeys are is the idea is that we take you and your students on a journey through a certain topic. So for example, with this biodiversity one, we go to a citizen science project and we participate in that. We talk about what is biodiversity, what are we looking at with a BioBlitz. And then one of our scientists takes us into the lab, and this is all in the form of a video, and talks about taxonomy and shows what they do related to that. And it's not just videos, so the idea is that you're taken through a very interactive journey. So a video will introduce a topic that's then followed up, or maybe beforehand there's some slides on that topic, and then there'll be activities that are directly linked to the either the video or just the topic in general, so that yeah, you're not just watching something, or you're not just stood there with some slides, but the kids actually then really get involved. And so yeah, there'll be these 4 different topics. Ocean chemistry is currently being developed, so keep an eye out for that, and maybe we can highlight it through our social media channels and stuff when that one's available. But maybe if you go to the next slide, Ellie, thank you. Oh wait, a couple more maybe.
I think it's slide 25, Ellie.
Great, thank you. Yeah, and so the way that they've been developed is they are quite a lot of slides, and there's quite a lot to cover there, but they're designed as one complete lesson, so it's all linked to each other. Yeah, one more, I think. one more slide along. But you can also spread them over multiple lessons. So with the ocean chemistry one, especially right now that I'm developing, I've now learned, I think it might be good to do it in parts. And so there's 4 different parts. And so you could do that as 4 different lessons, or maybe 2 parts per lesson. But it's really flexible. You can pick and choose what activities you want to do, what you want to cover, so it fits your class. The videos will all be on YouTube, so you can also just access them independently, but they'll also be linked in the slides. And yeah, it's a way that there we go. Thank you. So as you can see, there's on the top right one shows like a slide where it'll link to an animation that we've developed. The bottom left one will link to a video, like a live action video of where we follow a scientist into the lab where she's doing ocean acidification experiments, but also out in the field. And then there's some activities that are linked to the topic. So this one will be an ocean acidification activity to help your students learn about the chemistry. So yeah, the idea is that it kind of contextualizes science and shows science in the real world and shows real world challenges, because I think sometimes students find it hard to relate and understand how it all fits in. It also challenges scientist stereotypes, and hopefully it shows all your students that anyone can become a scientist. And then also the hope is that it will inspire students to consider a career in STEM, hopefully particularly marine or freshwater STEM. So yeah, that's the idea. It's like a way that we also encourage you to maybe think about making your materials, making sure that your slides also link to interactive activities. Maybe you want to add a video in there. But yeah, it'd be really great if you have a look at it. And again, also, please feel free to reach out and send any feedback on them. We're always keen to learn what worked, what didn't for your class. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. And sorry, because my connection was temporarily broken.
No
So
problem,
I
thank you.
couldn't manage the presentation, the slides. Okay, so I'm gonna start sharing. So if you have some questions that we have not answered on the chat, now it's the moment to open your microphones. We have shared you in the chat the link to our funding, where you can find all the information. Also a link in to our YouTube channel, where you can find the specific info session about this call, where we give you more detail about the call, in fact, because today we have talked also about the catalog, about how to improve the project. But in this more information, we will share you also the link of the application on how to become Blue School. Okay, we have it here. So if somebody has some questions regarding to this session, if you want to open your microphones.
Hi, Ellie. Can I just ask a question about the Blue School? So, do you need to become a Blue School in order to receive the funding for ProBleu?
No, it's not necessary, but at the end, if you get funded, at the end of your project, you will become a Blue School, because
Okay.
all funded schools get automatically a certification of Blue
Okay.
Schools.
That's great. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Christina from Denmark. It's not a question, it's more like thank you for all the new knowledge. And at our school, we just got a partnership with the National Park, Mols Bjerge. And also yesterday, we went to have a partnership with it's called the Wave Garden. So instead of a real garden, it's in the ocean. And there was divers to show the kids how much plastic it's in the water and how to have like mussels and what do they do and the fishes. So I find it very interesting with this meeting.
Nice project. More questions? So I will
Yes,
share
hi.
you here our email.
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hi, I'm Adriana from Luxembourg. And I think there are no Blue School in Luxembourg yet, and we are thinking to apply. But as I said, one question, will this May be the last deadline to apply, or we can consider to apply in October?
May is the last time to the deadline to apply to our call, the
Okay.
23rd.
Sorry,
But to
the
be a
audio,
Blue
the
School,
audio.
you can apply now until 30,
No.
or then in.
No, you have to forgive me, but I didn't
hear me?
listen well because the audio is going on and off.
Sorry.
Yeah.
23rd of May is the deadline for ProBleu's grants. Okay.
Mhm.
But to be a Blue School, you can apply now if you are doing something. You can apply until the 13th of May, or maybe wait until October and do it in
And do
autumn.
it, and then the October will not be any more funds, right? For the funds, it's just now in May.
No.
Yeah.
From ProBleu, no, but also we have sister projects that are called Shore and Blue Lights, and they are they have also calls for grants, and you can check their calls
Okay.
because they are quite similar to our calls. So maybe if you don't get our funding, you can apply to their funding.
Good there.
I will
Okay.
also share you the links here in the chat.
Okay.
Hi, Ellie. Sorry, just one last thing. Just to be clear on that. So the 23rd of May deadline, like following that, and whatever schools get funding there, is ProBleu not funding schools after that point into the future?
Exactly. It's
Okay.
our last call because we
Okay.
had only money for 4 calls. So it's our last one.
Okay. And will the resources still be available online going into the future, or will they be
Yeah,
gone?
the resources will stay for a long time there.
Okay, that's perfect. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. The
Thank
idea
you.
of this catalog is that it stills along the time, no? I think for 7 years minimum,
Oh,
because
Yes.
we spend a big effort.
We have a commitment to keep it alive for 7 years, but yeah, we hope that it will be useful and used by all the community of teachers, and maybe will be alive for longer than 7 years.
I wrote in the chat the links of our sister projects. You can check also their call for grants and also our email of contact if you have any doubt of the call.
thank you.
And also don't forget to follow us in our social media. And in the website, you will find all the links. Any question? No? Okay. So I think if there are no more questions, we will close the session. And then if when you check all the information, you have some questions, send us an email and we will answer you as soon as possible. But try not to send it 2 or 3 days before the closing of the call because we will be very busy checking the applications. So try to do it in advance. Okay. And remember that your project to the call should be written in English, but it's not necessary to be in a perfect English. Okay. Because most of us are not English native. So you can do it, you can use a translator, DeepL or Google Translator, wherever to do it, because we are not checking the grammar. We just only want to understand the project. So we will not check the grammatics, okay? Or you can involve the English teachers also. It's a good way to involve other teachers in the projects and don't be alone.
For the literacy.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
So thank you very much for attending the session. And we hope that you apply to our goals and also you use our resources. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Nice day.